Say you are dealing with an access order database and you want the machine to automatically add the most recent shipping address of a certain company. You can do that on the fly by using Access VBA. It will do all the work for you. Our database is very simple. It has customers. One customer can have multiple orders. Every order has order details that mentions what is the product in that specific order and which other products are in that order and what is the price, etc., etc. Here is the information we want to retrieve automatically from the most recent order, assuming that it hasn't changed yet, otherwise the user has to type it manually, otherwise it will all be done automatically. This is the form we are going to use. Here it allows you to select a customer. It will put this information in here automatically, and then you can add all the products for this particular order. So when someone in the drop down box, in the combo box here, selects a new company, that should be rejected because this order is already for that company. So we should never change the owner of that order. In other words, we have to redirect the user to a new record, a new order record. But once we reach that point, it should put in automatically that information, and it does that with VBA code. It does that in the after update event of this combo box. So it is a combo box customer ID after update event. We declare two variables to begin with. One is of the variant type. Why? Because we want to store an array in here, a series of strings. So we have to make this a variant type of variable. And then we have an object type of variable that is of the DAO.recordSet type. Then we declare a counter, an integer, and another variant type vCurrent. In VArray, which is a variant, we store an array by using the array function based on these strings. These are the strings that we will use for the field names that we want to address and for the text boxes on the form besides. We set ORS of the DAO record set type to the record set clone behind the form we are working in. The record set clone is a virtual copy of all the record set. If the record we are in at this moment in the form, if that number is less than or equal to than the total record count of the record set clone, then we know we are working on an existing order and we shouldn't. Else we have to do something else. So let's tackle the if clause first. We are going to tell the user with a message box, you must be in a new order record. And we will take them there. We reset the customer ID of the combo box to the old value. That was the value before the user tried to update. And then we go to a new record by using the do command in Access based on this form. Which form? Me name, that's the name of that form, new record. Otherwise, we are going to find the most recent order for that company. Remember, we had in that subroutine already an array. Once that line runs, it creates a bunch of arrays running from 0 to 6, and each one has a string in it, the name of the field that we want to retrieve, and that is also the name of the text box that we want to fill. I won't discuss the rest anymore, but then we did a check if the current record number is less than equal to the record count, then we will redirect the user else, and that is new. Otherwise, find in ORS, that is the record set clone, the last one based on the customer ID that we are selecting in the combo box. Because the customer ID field in this database is of the string type and not a number type, we have to make that a literal string. That is why before I close my double string, I open a single quote, because that customer ID has to be taken as a string. So at the end, I have to close that single quote. So I open double quote, single quote, double quote. If the no match is false, that means it could find one, then I'm going to retrieve the shipper's name, address, etc. from that latest, most recent record. So we loop through all these array elements. I equals 0 to the last index, which is 6 in this case. From 0 to U-bound V array is 6 in this case. We close the loop. And it's going to run through this array from 0 to 6. And it's going to say from the collection of controls in this form, give me the first one, 0, then 1, 2. Take the value, and that should be the same as the value I found in the record set, find last, the most recent one, in the field ship name, ship address. So in the control ship name, we store from that most recent value the ship name field value, etc. Once we have selected all of that and we got the default address here, then we choose the product for this particular order. And that combo box is based on this query. It needs the product ID, the product name, and whether it's continued, yes or no. So I have 3 columns in here, but the first column has a width of 0, so I can't see it. But the machine will remember that number, and through that number it is going to find, that is the product ID, it's going to find the unit price for my record. So when I choose a particular product, it will automatically find the unit price of that record. So how does it do that part? We need more code. When the combo box product ID in the subform is updated, after the update, we create a filter. The product ID equals CBO product ID. I don't need single quotes here, because that product ID is a real number. If it were not, I need single quotes around CBO product ID. Then we find for the form the unit price by using the dlookup function based on the field unit price in the table products based on the filter for a specific product ID. So let's test this code. We open the database. There is the order entry form. We are in an existing record now. So if I try to change this one and say I want, this company says you must be in a new record. At the moment I click OK, it takes me to a new record. Now I can start a specific name. Let's say I got an order from around the Horn. It's going to look now for its most recent shipping address, and it puts that right in here. If that's not correct anymore, change it, but otherwise it saves you a lot of work. I'm going to choose a product. Let's say they ordered the Boston crab meat. It automatically got the price in there, and they also asked for camembert, and that is $34, and the total of the records is here, $49.78. You want to know much more about Access VBA? I developed a CD-ROM that has an immense array of issues. You name it, you will find it there. It's more than 1500 slides and it discusses all of these issues. I don't think you have any questions left after you go through this CD-ROM. You can find it at Mr. Excel, Amazon.com or genesispc.com in particular. And my name is Gerard Verschuren.